What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, UnclefOOlio, here for episode 3 of The Controversy. As always, these episodes are sponsored by Nothing But Knicks. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that notification bell just to be notified anytime we go live or we have any new content for you. So, what is my controversial take this week, ladies and gentlemen? Does Charles Oakley deserve to have his number retired in the Garden rafters? The answer is yes, ladies and gentlemen. No question. No question. And I'm going to explain to you why. But prior to me doing that, I need to talk about what happened in 2017 with Charles Oakley, ladies and gentlemen. That was one of the most embarrassing things that ever happened to our organization. There's always been this long-standing feud between James Dolan and Charles Oakley. For one reason or another, they just don't like each other. And in 2017, at the game against the Clippers, everything just turned ugly and it reared on its ugly head. Charles Oakley was surrounded by a bunch of security guards and asked to leave Madison Square Garden. Now, everyone who knows anything about UnclefOOlio knows I am not a big fan of James Dolan. Not a fan at all. The reason why this is coming up is because earlier this week in a bunch of media outlets it was reported that Charles Oakley declined to have his jersey number retired. At first, when I heard that news, I was like, Charles Oakley, you're just being really, really petty. Now you're stooping down to James Dolan's level. But then I took a step back and I had to think for a second. If I was in his shoes, what would I do? The answer is I would do the exact same thing. I would decline that invitation. After that incident happened in 2017, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks literally went into the media and called this man a drunk, saying, quote, Knicks PR, quote, I hope Charles Oakley gets the help he needs. What organization does that to anyone, let alone a player who gave his heart and soul for this organization in the 90s? Not a competent franchise. And I know, it's not necessarily the Knicks as a team. It's coming from the top. It's coming from James Dolan. But there's no other way for me to describe it. I was truly heartbroken at what I seen in 2017, ladies and gentlemen. The pettiness of James Dolan. Now, everyone might be saying, well, Charles Oakley should have just complied and he should have just left like a gentleman. Leave like a gentleman? Is this the Charles Oakley that we remembered from the 90s? Charles Oakley is now all of a sudden a punk, and he has to let James Dolan punk him to leave Madison Square Garden, sending 9 to 10 people around him to escort him out, surrounding him as if they were going to jump him and put their hands on him. If I was Charles Oakley, I would have got upset too. And you guys know this is who Charles Oakley is. That's the guy that we loved in the 90s. Hustle for loose balls, not taking anything from anyone. Anybody coming in that paint, they get knocked down. A bruiser. The heart and soul of those teams in the 90s. So why would you expect anything different from him in 2017 when that incident happened? You gonna let James Dolan punk Charles Oakley? But that wasn't even the worst part, ladies and gentlemen. It's the way the Knicks treated him in the media, calling him an alcoholic. And this isn't the first time, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't the first time. James Dolan is an admitted recovering alcoholic. He's been sober for 20 plus years, apparently. And he had the nerve and audacity to call a fan who wrote him a letter expressing displeasure about the way he's been running the organization. James Dolan had the nerve to write that fan back and call him an alcoholic. Who does that, ladies and gentlemen? You're a billionaire. You have $1 billion, yet you're this petty. You're this petty. Since that incident with Charles Oakley, he's been banned from Madison Square Garden from ever coming back into the building. The heart and soul of those teams in the 90s is now banned away from Madison Square Garden. Are you guys okay with that? Are you comfortable with that? Has James Dolan tweeted twisted your minds up so much that, everything that he does is the best for this organization? I'm not saying Charles Oakley was a saint in the situation, ladies and gentlemen. He clearly made some terrible decisions. But if I was him, I would have declined the invitation to have my number retired as well. After being disrespected in the public eye, named slandered in the public eye, I would have declined the invitation too. Now everyone knows, again, I have this disdain for the way James Dolan's been running this organization. Because Charles Oakley and that fan who was called a drunk, that's not the only times this has happened when it comes to MSG security and the pettiness of James Dolan. A year later, or 2 years later, Spike Lee comes to the arena with a Charles Oakley jersey on. The game following that, he gets hassled by MSG security trying to come into the building. The same entrance that he's been using for the past 30 years, all of a sudden, he gets hassled for coming in that entrance. And then what did the Knicks do in classic Nick or James Dolan fashion? They went to the PR, they went to the media, to Twitter, and called it laughable that Spike Lee would make that an issue. Guy spent millions of dollars promoting the team in his movies, wherever, the Oscars, wherever the case may be, he promotes the New York Knicks organization, and they treat him like that. Even if the Knicks are right, and Spike Lee was supposed to go through a different entrance, you could have handled it so much better than that. You could have handled it so much better than that. But no, our owner, James Dolan, is so petty that he cares more about public relations and what happens in the media than doing the right thing. I mean, this is countless amounts of times where, when fans out there yelling, sell the team, he wants to boot fans out the arena. And then there was a fan that was wearing this shirt right here. Came into the arena, sat down, wanted to watch the game, and James Dolan directed security to have this fan either remove his shirt or he must leave the arena. Of course, James Dolan can do that. He owns the building. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. So if the team is playing poorly and we decide to boo the team, we can get kicked out of the arena? I'm just so fed up, ladies and gentlemen. And I've been holding this in for a very, very long time. And of course, no Knicks fan wants to talk about it. Because they just want to see the team do well. They're tired of ESPN and all these media outlets blasting the Knicks, because of poor play. But really, everything, the common denominator in the past 20 years has been James Dolan. He's made these wrong hiring decisions. Now, he's not afraid to spend money. I give him credit for that. But he's the reason why this team has a negative image. It's because of him. And this incident with Charles Oakley is just one of the many incidences that just makes us look bad. So Charles Oakley, I'm on your side. I stand by you. Of course, I want to see your number hang up there in the rafters, but you got to do what you got to do. Because I couldn't imagine being disrespected like that and slandered like that in the media just because of some petty nonsense from a billionaire. Spike Lee, I stand with you. And all the fans out there who want James Dolan to sell the New York Knicks organization, and Madison Square Garden for that matter, I stand with you as well. Go Knicks. Just because you don't support James Dolan does not make you less of a fan. I love the Knicks more than anything else. But I hate James Dolan as an owner. I don't know him as a person, but I hate him as an owner of an organization. So with that being said, get it together, James Dolan. Get it together. Of course, if you guys agree or disagree with me, make sure you put it in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think. We've been running away from this topic for way too long. It's time for us to talk about it. And I just hope that this guy sells the team soon, or he changes his ways and becomes more professional. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in with me this week's episode of The Controversy. I look forward to bringing you more content in the future. Go Knicks, and let's keep pushing for the playoffs, baby. Take care.